How you doing, Cub?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good, man. Before we get into the fight that you got coming up, I wanted to get into the last fight you had with Shane Burgos. You know, the judges gave the fight to your opponent. Just wanted to get some thoughts on that performance and the decision.
Uh, I thought I'd let it slip out a little bit. I was frustrated with myself. I know a lot of people thought I won the fight, but I thought he closed out the second and third rounds strong, and that kind of gave him the edge. So I was mad at myself for that one. I felt like I let it slip out.
You have become a staple, in the featherweight division. I think you have around 25 fights for WC and UFC total. Many consider you an OG, which puts a target on your back. Are you comfortable in that position, or do you still bring a prospect mentality to the fight?
Yeah, I try to just really dwell in that in being in that role. I like that. Uh, I want everyone to show me their respect because I've been putting in the work for a long time. So, uh, it's exciting because I could be fighting another veteran. I could be fighting an up and comer. It doesn't matter to me. I'm up for any of it.
You're facing an undefeated prospect in Kron Gracie coming up. It's kind of similar to a couple years back when you took on the Korean Superboy. There was a lot of hype going into the fight. Do you see any parallels in these two fights?
It definitely crossed my mind. Just the comparison. Uh, I thought, the Superboy was a little bit more polished all the way around, but Kron is definitely more dangerous in one aspect. But yeah, I mean, as far as there being hype on somebody and them wanting to test themselves early, uh, I definitely think he's stepping up into tougher competition. So I'm glad to be that opponent.
Facing a Gracie, I'm pretty sure you've been asked this many times, but what does this opportunity mean to you?
It's huge for me because when I started doing jiu-jitsu, I was a huge Gracie fan because jiu-jitsu pretty much got me from it changed my life. It got me on the right path in life. So I was so involved in it, so mentally wrapped around it. I watched all the Gracie in action. Um, yeah, I just loved the whole storyline of the family, and I was able to meet Helio Gracie at a grappling tournament. So I have tons of respect. Um, and so for me, honestly, it is an honor to fight Kron in the octagon.
You started with jiu-jitsu, and leading up to this fight, I'm pretty sure you focused on jiu-jitsu a lot. And I saw a story that you were getting kicked out of jiu-jitsu schools. How did those conversations go? Having to deal with the politics of jiu-jitsu again.
Well, it was funny because uh, it kind of stirred up some old memories. I was going back to me, coming from this really small school in Palm Springs that my my jiu-jitsu coach never came and cornered me. I used to go to all these tournaments by myself, and one day I ended up going against Kron in a jiu-jitsu match, and I felt like I was cheated and I wasn't given any points, and so I lost by 1 point, and I just felt like I was robbed, and so basically I was upset about it, and then somebody wrote an article on how Crown beat the Pan Am champ, and so they were kind of rubbing it in my eyes, and that really pissed me off. So I wrote the guy a bad email, and then I basically was told through the grapevine that if I didn't shut up about it, that I wouldn't be allowed to compete in jiu-jitsu tournaments anymore. So from then on, I pretty much stopped doing jiu-jitsu and focused on MMA. And then, 15 years later, here we are.
Who have you been working with most for this training camp, on your, pertaining to your ground game?
Well, like I said, there was a couple schools that asked me not to come in because they didn't want to be uh, the ones helping against the Gracie family because of the politics. So I had to, look around a little further. But I do go train at 10th Planet at a couple of them in Orange County, and I went back home to my original instructor, and there's a black belt by the name of Josh Dubinsky. We call him Hurricane. I actually talked him into doing jiu-jitsu, and he's a black belt, and he's super talented, and he's kind of like a diamond in the rough. People don't know about him, but I was able to bring him out for this camp, and was probably the one that helped me the most.
Many people are expecting, Kron to test you on the ground. Do you think there's any chance that he will test you in your stand-up?
Oh, definitely. I can't rule that out. I know he's, constantly working his stand-up game. I know he works with Nate, who's no slouch, standing. But I think he wants to be on the ground, but I'm ready for the fight to go anywhere. I did tons of preparation for this fight. I feel very confident.
You go into UFC Tampa, you get the quick win over Kron Gracie. Would you be interested in a rematch with the Korean Superboy at UFC Busan in December? Because there's a lot of interest in Korea right now with that fight. They would like to see that fight again.
I think us fighting again is inevitable. He just hasn't been very active, so I don't know what his situation is. I don't know if he's been in the gym or what's been going on. So as far as his end, I'm not sure what he's up to, but for me, if I go out there and piece Kron up like I plan on doing, then I'd love to get another fight. And if that was a fight that they wanted to put together, I wouldn't mind jumping in another one.
All right, Cub, thank you so much, man, for the time.
Thank you.